Let's talk about GPT-5 and how big of a disappointment that was. If you remember, a month ago, we were all talking about GPT-5, how crazy of a revolution that was going to be. We are almost there with AGI, and how this was going to be a game changer. And what happened? Well, it wasn't. And I remember I was having a conversation with one of my clients, I believe a week before the release. And they asked me, so they're building a platform and it's heavily based on AI. And we've been using OpenAI models for over a year at this point. And they asked me, I know GPT-5 is coming out in a week. What should we do? Should we adapt our strategy? And my answer was very clear. I promise you, it's not going to be that big of a game changer. And the things that matter is us building a proper product with proper fundamentals. The models are almost fungible at this point. Yeah, we get a little bit of increase. This is not going to be a game changer. What happened? I was right. And I've been talking about this for half a year at this point. I have a video in my channel from, I believe, January, when I'm saying that the actual fundamentals of how LLM works, they haven't changed over the past 2 years, literally since GPT-3. I think that was the biggest change, and we are just getting incremental improvements in performance. And so everyone was disappointed, and at this point, we should all be getting used to this hype. And luckily, I think the hype train is dying out, and we're going to arrive to a more sensible position. So what I want to do in this video is I want to go over why GPT-5 was a disappointment and why these things continue happening. But more importantly, I want to tell you what the good news are. I believe that models not being what they're promised is actually a good thing. And it's actually a good thing if you're building with AI or you're building products. And if you don't know me, for context, my name is Guillermo, and I am the co-founder and CTO of a tech and AI studio called 7 Sigma. And we've been building software for over 5 years at this point. And we've also been involved with AI since basically the beginning. And so why is this a bad side? Or why the disappointment is bad? And that's obvious, which is, well, we've been promised that we can use AI to automate everything. We can use AI and we no longer need to hire expensive employees and everything will be automated. And we were also promised, if you remember when GPT-3 came out and then GPT-4, and we were saying, oh, if GPT-3 has this many parameters and then GPT-4 has this many and then GPT-5 is going to have this many and everything is going to get out of control, and we won't have to do anything. Well, that's not happening. Unfortunately, we continue having to hire employees and pay for good talent. And basically all the promise of AI being magic and solving everyone's problems is not happening. And alongside this, we've seen a lot of venture capital money flowing into the industry. I believe all of the tokens that we're paying for with APIs, they are heavily subsidized by venture capital. And basically, when I say we, I say the industry, we're trying to make AI work and fulfill the promise, and it's not happening. Now, who are the people actually making a lot of money with AI nowadays? Well, these are the people selling the hype and selling the marketing. There are people teaching how to use AI, and they are the CEOs and business owners of these AI companies because their stock prices go up. Now, that's not good for the rest of us that are trying to build with AI. But these are the good news. This is what I told you I'm happy about with everything slowing down. And is that, if the promises were actually true and we get exponential changes and every year we have a breakthrough innovation, it is very hard to build a business on that foundation because a proper business typically requires years of evolution and investment. And yes, you can prototype something and get an MVP much faster, but the solid businesses typically require multi-year planning. And the good thing about new models continuously being a disappointment is that if you're planning to build a business on AI, this helps you because now you can plan. You can say, well, we're going to get slightly better models over time, and that's going to help us. But the underlying premises under which we build our business are going to remain the same. And so the reality is that AI is not magic. AI is just a new technology. And for all the shit that I talk about it, I think it's a wonderful technology. It's extremely powerful, but it's not magic. We just need to learn how to harness it and work with it properly. And luckily, we've been doing that with software for many, many years. And the same principles applies. Just technology, you learn how to work with it, you learn proven long-term engineering practices, and that's what's going to give you long-term value. So I believe that in the long term, the value is going to come from whoever can apply proper engineering and proper software practices onto AI. So the good news for you, if you actually have a solid idea, you have a problem that you want to solve, AI helps fill in a gap that with traditional software we couldn't, and now we can. And that's the gap where understanding natural language and getting more abstract concepts, those problems can now be solved with AI. And if that's your idea, I think you'll do very, very well. And if you have a proper business with proper fundamentals, you're going to do well in the long term. Luckily, I believe that all the hype and all the over-promised products and all this is going to luckily go away. Hopefully in a year or two, we're going to start seeing all the disappointing AI agents and everything having AI. It's going to go away, and we're going to be left with the actual products. So I'm excited for that time.